my God. He's awesome. Wow. What a little stud. I finally got my boy. I have 2 girls and a boy. My boy, he's just turned 3 and he's like 40 pounds and like 42 inches. He just turned 3. He's huge. I saw something like, oh, come on. I watched you guys
Yes. One thing. You're on the bridge. Welcome in. 21.6 to that. This is Bridging Civil Tension. Of course, we think it's better to build a bridge than burn one down, right? You got to meet in the middle and figure things out. He, of course, is the one, the only, the great, the guy, the entrepreneur, author, coach, just unbelievable guy, Phil Wallace. And of course, in studio today, in the producer's booth, first time. You gotta talk, brother.
Oh, I'm here. Welcome in, guys. It's Derek Bear. Welcome in, guys. It feels so weird over here. It literally does. I mean, it brings me back to my high school days, but dude, it's awesome over here. And Kent's chair smells a little funny, but it's okay. Beef was there. My bad, Pete.
Of course, today in studio, bringing a lot of beauty to this set, and we needed it. We needed it.
Thank you, guys.
Of course, my name is Kent. And
You guys know
Good one.
Jessica, welcome in. Thank you.
Yes.
Long time listener, first time on air. Right.
Thank you for joining us.
And it, hey, of course, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Gold Shield Services. Check them out, www.goldshieldservice today.
Wow.
No, just Gold Shield today.
Wow.
Right? What is
Wow.
it?
Epic
Gold
fail.
Shield
Just
today.
Gold Shield today. I was reading his switcher. And the reason I goofed up is somebody's like, well, is that a legal thing? No. They do HVAC, electric work, and maybe soon to be more. Who knows?
Yep.
Right?
Very sure.
And so they're awesome. They're the best in the area.
Thank you so
Which
much.
I also have a picture I got to show you. My son sent me. He's like, what's this? I go, yeah, no.
I do that when everyone sends me a picture, especially you.
Yeah.
What is that?
What we want to talk about today, and I've had this on my mind, so I'm glad that Jessica, you're here and brought it up, is raising multicultural kids, or half black, half white, or half Asian, half white, whatever the case may be.
He's already started.
I was downtown Chicago. I think I don't know who I shared it with, but we were downtown Chicago, and what you see now too is just a lot of adoptions. So there's a lot of white parents with black kids, and I've always thought, how do you, in today's weird tension, how do you raise these kids? And am I capable as a white guy and white wife who adopted a black child to be able to say, hey, let me tell you your history?
I would love to be a Jones.
Right?
I would love to be a Jones. I have a wicked jump shot if I was a
Hey,
Jones.
trust me, you should see Luke's. Anyway.
And good morning, Magda. Welcome in.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
yeah. No, you have to have the skulls.
Yeah.
It's Halloween.
Andrew.
Right?
Yeah, and they are mixed. It's a hodgepodge collectively.
Yeah. So you both are blessed with biracial kids. I don't even know how to say it. It's how comfortable I am. Right.
Yeah, I have to say, honestly, I said the other day, I always say African American, and someone said, can you stop saying African American? It's black and white. even that, I'm like,
Right.
I don't, there is a lot for me that causes me a little uncertainty. Like, am I saying things right? And I guess I do question myself. And yeah, am I capable? I mean, they're my kids. I don't think twice about it, but at the end of the day, those questions are going to come up. Like, do they have enough of their other half in them? Should I pretend to know how to give that to them?
Right. I think so. I have a white stepmom, and she says things very boldly. As far as the black and white, or as far as biracial, I have mixed kids. She's like, these are my mixed kids. She says Africans sometimes, which I think is hilarious. Only say that if you're gonna all the way dive in.
Yeah.
Right. But she's like, these are my Africans, these are my mixed babies. Like, and it's just, you can just tell, kind of like how we joke, right?
Yeah.
As long as they know it's from a position of love. Yep, my kids are mixed. Yep, these are, I think that African American. But everyone's gonna have their opinion. To some people, African American is too much. Some people, that's what they prefer.
Yeah.
Black just works for me,
Right,
my personal
right.
preference. But they're mixed.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're not just black. But the problem comes with, in situations like this, from what I understand, is to not just see color, but if people were to see my son or your kids, those are black kids. And then they'll try to just say the one thing. But from your position, I have mixed kids, and that should be fine. I don't see why someone would be offended by that.
Right.
So what about twist kids? Right? I'm just bringing it up because I've said it
I've
before.
heard that. Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I have
Like
never
the ice
heard
cream?
twist kids.
Like the
Well,
chocolate
yeah, like
vanilla
those
ice
cones.
cream, like the twist.
Half white, half black
Sweet.
chocolate.
I've
Right?
never
Makes
heard
sense.
that one.
I've never heard that.
I don't
Probably-
associate with
probably
kids
avoid-
and eating at the same time.
Probably avoid.
Probably avoid that one. Avoid Oreo babies. I want some more of these. Don't say that one.
Some more.
I've said blessings of the swirl, but that's for me to say and you guys to laugh.
My parents always, my folks always refer to me as the special one. Here's
yes.
our 3 cents and our special.
Air quotes or non-air quotes?
there were no air quotes.
Good.
No,
Did they
so
wink every time they called you the special one?
yeah, and how old? Can I ask how old your kids
Of
are?
course, I'm happy to be here. Number one, thanks for having me, guys. I honored to be
Who
here.
are you?
I am Jessica. I am the dispatcher at Gold Shield Services. I am a mother of 3 children. I just see them as my children, but I'm happy to have this conversation. Something I don't really talk too much about, so I'm looking to understand a little bit from more sides of this. My kids are 3. My son is 3, my youngest, and then I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old,
Okay.
and those are my daughters. And all same dad. Dad is not in the picture, and I am here. In
He's been
Crystal
cut out.
Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the picture.
Correct.
Cropped, right?
But yeah, that's
All right.
a tough situation because he's still their dad, right? So
Yeah.
I want to talk about that too, and maybe we can even talk about that too. It's
And you live where? Can we ask?
yeah, I live in Crystal Lake.
Okay.
Now I grew up in Johnsburg. So if anyone knows Johnsburg, it's a very small, non-diverse community, primarily white. I think there was, I don't even think there was any black people in our school growing up at all. As I got older, I went away to school, really got into basketball. So I started hanging out with, Minnesota, Winona. So that was mostly, I think, primarily white.
Did you go to school with Dixon? What was your name?
Yep. They were our neighbors. They had the full court
They
in
had
the
the
back.
full court?
Yeah, it was really
Yes.
nice. John
Played
Smith
there.
is, I don't know if you know John Smith, but that was,
Yeah.
he's my guy. I went to prom with him, but I just was like in love with his basketball skills. He was huge. But anyway, so I
6'11",
followed him to
6'9"
Winona.
or 6'11"?
6'7". So he's not, yeah. But,
Tall dude.
moved to Forest Park, and that's where I met my kid's dad, and it was more diverse, but I just never felt like uncomfortable. I mean, growing up in a town where there wasn't any black people to move where there was, it didn't hit me any certain way.
Right.
I just,
It is what it is.
yeah. So, I mean, that's my experience with it. So I guess I don't see any issues, but how am I going to handle when my kids have issues?
Yeah.
Or-
So 6 years old. What
or
is
if.
that? Is that first grade?
So
Kindergarten?
6, it's kindergarten, yeah.
Yeah.
But my oldest is 8.
8. So
And
that's
when she
second,
was
third
about
grade?
6,
Yeah.
she did bring up a question, and she just said, "Hey, Mom, why is my skin black like Dad and Aaliyah's skin white like you?" So it does. I mean, she obviously sees something, and my hair's curly. I mean, so there's some stuff going on there, or there's one other person in my class that has the same color skin as me.
So what?
So she
how did you
obviously
handle that?
sees-
When she
I was
asked
a
that
little
question?
surprised because I was like, wow, I didn't realize that.
And I'm
she
sure it was not
didn't
like, hey, mom, I
notice.
want to have a conversation about the color of our
Right.
skin. And
Right.
hey, can you
Yep.
think about the right way to do it? It was
Mhm.
like on the fly, probably half, you know,
Yeah,
in the
and
middle
then
of
you
cooking
rethink,
dinner or
did
something.
I say it the right way? Did
Yeah.
I answer it? And what I said is, and again, I don't want to play things down for them, so that's why I would like to have this conversation too. But I just said, hey, you know, we have different color eyes, different color hair. Like your Auntie Chrissy has blue eyes, I have brown eyes. God makes us the way that we are for a reason,
Right.
you know. And I'm a firm believer in that too, that, you know, everyone has their battles, and whether it's the color of your skin or if it's something that you're going through internally,
Right.
that battle's for you specifically. And I feel like, why is race any different? Like we all have an uphill battle with
Right.
something. So I feel kind of uncomfortable saying that, like I'm a little ignorant to playing down other people's battles with something. It's like, I kind of think you're like playing the victim. Like, are you using that as a race card? And that's where I think, should I even say that out loud? Because I feel bad for saying that.
Right. I think with anybody's battle, like downplaying it is never going to be received well.
Yeah.
And then also, like if you know that someone, like me and Kent knew a person who was an addict, to just say that you're not, and you're not going through things, and you don't have like,
Yep.
you're not the. I mean, people say it's a choice and you can, but it's not necessarily the victim because of it. But that's stuff that he is going through, and I would be wrong to say that's not your personal experience. I think that when you're having these conversations, being able to embrace both sides, right? Again, going back to my stepmom, she would teach my sisters about, you know, their dad's side, and then teach them about this side as well. So we would go to College Station, Texas, where my 10 cousins who are homeschooled sing their Christmas carols like this. And then we go to Uncle Leon's house where it's hip hop karaoke and Biggie's playing for Christmas. So like we saw both sides of it, and that's where they come from.
It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens.
But what if I don't have anyone to show
Holy
them
cow.
the other side?
That's old school, baby.
Yep.
Are there
You know?
are there any like friends that you have as far as like that you can ask questions to as well? Well, you went to Johnsburg, so no.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, so that's right there is maybe a problem, or not a problem, but I'm like, how can I give them that? I have hope that going forward we'll find mentors. Just like, okay, they don't have a dad, they're going to have a disservice in their life. Well, no, I don't believe those limitations. I believe you have a parent that loves them. There's going to be other people that can fill those roles, coaches, mentors, and stuff like that. So I think they're going to get what they need as time goes on.
So, Andrew, morning, brother. I feel like it's weird. Kids obviously see skin color and wonder and ask sometimes, but thankfully most don't have any feelings behind it. So they know, but don't
complicate it.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's my thought process
Yeah.
with that, right? So although kids are innocent, most kids, you know, when you grow up, they don't have ill intentions. They're kind of, I call it a blank slate, right, across the board. Parental influence then becomes stipulation or segregation around, well, why are you hanging out with that kid? Why don't you hang out with this kid? And it might be a color of skin. Well, I don't want to be looked at in the neighborhood that I'm in, a predominantly white neighborhood, as my son or daughter hanging out with a mixed kid or black kid or whatever, or an Asian kid or whatever ethnicity that's not the same race that's
the Island
dominant in there.
Boys on TikTok.
The what?
The Island Boys.
The Island
Someone just showed me
Boys.
that the other day. What,
We
I
were
don't
dying
know
about that
anything
last
about
night.
that.
Island Boys. You haven't seen his hair? His hair is like all over the place.
Someone showed me a picture. I
I'll
don't
show you.
know.
Yeah, can you imagine? You're like Kent, imagine that your daughter bringing, and hey, by the way, I have a new friend of mine, and that is the Island Boys. What would you do?
Welcome, son. Sit down for a minute.
There you go.
Tell me about those tattoos.
Yeah.
I like the one specifically on your face, and you're gonna go someplace in life, probably to jail. All right. Anyway,
So judgmental.
yeah, absolutely.
He's like openly.
So judgmental.
Absolutely. No, I get to know all. As long as you make my kids happy.
Sure.
That's all you want. So here's a question for both of you, and I know your son's down in Texas.
Yes.
And you had said something in the green room that your mom told you, right? Or was it your dad? Or
Mom, know before you find out.
Know before you find out who you are.
Right.
Right. So how do you maybe easier from your side, might be a little bit more difficult, because your family owned slaves, right? Or that's what a lot of people want to believe, right? Right. So how hard is it for you to do that, especially with their father out of the picture?
Mm-hmm.
And how easy or difficult is it for you to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you do it?
I mean, she's on the right track where she's saying,
Yeah.
like, God made all of us different and special in our own different way. You are this color because you are black. You tell Elijah, you're mixed. Mommy's white, daddy's black. You are mixed. By the world standards, you're going to be looked at as black, which is cool because it means you'll have rhythm and you can dunk on people.
Yes.
Or
Thank you.
Or be able to have a hook. That soccer kick. Right?
So I can dunk, but I definitely can't dance.
Let's see it. Prove it.
I still to this day can do it. I might pull a muscle, but I'll do it. I'll make it happen.
But when you're explaining the differences, like you're saying, don't implement like this horrible stereotype or
Yes.
just like that it's just going to be doom and gloom. I will say, like from and he did a great job, but my stepdad, that we were just doomed because we were black.
Sure.
It's going to be this much harder for you.
Yes.
And yeah, there's stuff that you're going to come, but like you have almost like your guard way up.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And listen, you're going to have people who are going to say this. And to go back to your question, you said know before you find out. When I moved from Florida, which was kind of segregated, to Lundahl, that was the first time I was openly called an N-word walking home from Lundahl.
Gross.
So me and my friends are... Yes.
Yeah.
And good morning, Art.
Wow.
Welcome into the show.
Nipper sink in my direction.
Welcome, Gene.
And that was a situation where we're all walking home, and the kid out of the bus yells the N-word, and so it's like, man, this. Even if I want to fit in, and I think I'm one of them in Crystal Lake.
Wow.
It's going to be identified that I'm different. So know that you're going to come across things like this, but that guy's an idiot. That's not how most people, like you have that opportunity to listen. Those are just bad people who are going to think that, and you're going to come across that. Here's the thing. Show them otherwise.
Yes.
I tell the kids that I coach, I tell my son that we will not fit the stereotypes.
Didn't you break the backboard once?
I did twice.
Twice.
But we're not going to perpetuate the ignorant stereotypes. This is how we'll carry ourselves. This is how you're going to wear your pants.
So Dallas is in the where he lives. Is it a good mixed culture, or is it like the burbs out here?
Where he is, Capel is mostly white, Indian, and then more African Americans than what we would have here.
Okay.
Like there, it's not like. Fox Valley wise, people said like Carpentersville Dundee is like kind of bad because it's diverse,
Right?
Because you have like 100 black people, but it's not like looked at as a hood school. Like it's like, okay, they just have 100 kids that are black in school,
Right?
So it's a good enough mix. It's still like predominantly white, but you're seeing other kids, Indian kids, Asian kids, West Indian kids. You're seeing Hispanic kids, and then more white kids, but you're seeing a little bit more diversity than what you would out here. And so you're being able to see the differences in the culture and things like that.
Yeah.
So just to piggyback, so two things off that. So when you said in the green room about know before you find out, that is really what I was thinking about before knowing I was coming on this show. Is one of my biggest struggles is like, do I even plant the seed? Like, do I even say anything that there's anything? Yeah, you're half black, you're half white. That's it. There's nothing more to say. Oh, you may have some issues. Why even put something there that's not there? Or am I doing them a disservice?
Right.
So this is really helping me understand when you say know before you find out, because as Derek stated, it really is the tone I've noticed.
Yeah.
They can pick up on if you're fearful or if you're not sure how you're going to answer something, a kid can pick up on that. So your energy needs to be very clear about how you feel. You are my child. You're amazing. And it is what it is. With nothing, you can't fool a child. So I feel like I have to heal any issue that I have going on. I'm not going to be able to fool my child. It has to be authentic. And then just like what you said about, oh, shoot, now I lost my train of thought. There was one other thing I was going to say based on that.
Right.
I think that when you're asking questions too, how is school? What did you guys talk about? Like you said, you asked, your daughters what they were discussing in school and learning about. Asking that question and figuring out the discussion. And luckily this day my stepmom did that, and it was a day that a kid called my little sister a zebra because she's mixed.
Did you say zebra?
Zebra.
That's a new one.
Black and white.
I don't think I've heard that one before.
I was kind of like, that's creative, but
that's
She's
five
a
points.
referee?
5 points for originality. Right. Another negative 5 points for that shouldn't be talked about that way. Okay, cool. Thanks.
For idiocy.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately for that kid, her older brother was at the same daycare that day.
I think really just listen. If your child's feeling something, maybe they are going to have an issue. Just listen and validate what they're feeling, even if I don't understand it. But like, my best friend lives in Bolingbrook, and it's a lot more diverse. And she wants us to come out there. And honestly, something in my heart is like, but I want them out here. Like, I like it out here. And how do I know what's best to put them in a situation? Is it better to be in a more diverse place, or is it, I guess, really, does it really matter? I mean, I have a lot that I don't know, and I just want to give them the best that they can.
That's why we moved to Crystal Lake. Our realtor said, we're looking to come out here from Florida, and we drove to Crystal Lake, and the consensus was it's white. Like, where's the diversity?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, not to be rude, but like, we're
92% white. I just saw.
And the lady literally goes, "We can take you to Chicago, and your son will be in a gang.
Yeah.
But I do have a place I'll take you." She took us like the bad side of Elgin. And then we went to Crystal Lake because it was going to be safer.
Right.
That's
however,
quote unquote,
safe is relative because I'm not going to be called racial slurs when I'm on the west side of Chicago. So pick your poison. And that's where it's like, it is. And the problem that I have with being able to mentor kids that I find is a lot of kids, if you're not, amazing in sports, or even if you do, you're going to, the mixed kids in this area have horror stories. Like, when I talk to kids who went to South, and I have things that I went through, but my friends who weren't athletes they were like, I hated school because of the things that I would hear.
And here's
so
the story.
what town is what area are you talking about with that?
Crystal Lake.
Yeah,
so he hated school in Crystal Lake.
So
okay.
My friends in Huntley, my friends in McHenry.
So the northwest suburbs is what you're basically going to.
There is
interesting.
There, and it doesn't even matter. There is a young lady you and I coach, one of the best athletes, and she was at South.
Mm-hmm.
She's a senior this year. She's not going to South now, and again comes from she's a mixed kid, right? Mm-hmm. Mom is white, dad is black, and incredible kid, right? To the point where she was being pushed up on by some. Or punched down on, as Chappelle would say, and went to the teachers, went to the principal's office. Listen, ABC is doing 1, 2, 3, and I'm telling you that right now because I don't want to get in trouble, but and so exactly how she described it, so she retaliated. The other kid, white kid, did exactly what she went to the office for.
Followed her to the bathroom. They did not try to step in and stop it. So she retaliated.
Yep.
Guess who got suspended?
Black kid.
Yep.
So my question, so we're talking about that kind of situation. We're talking about bullying, right? So my question is, in different parts of this kind of reign for me, and America in general focuses on the 1% problem rather than the 99% positive that's in America. Yeah. Right. It's not like the black kids are walking through these schools and getting picked on every 10 seconds by every single white kid in there. There's probably a bully that has different morals or was raised differently that is now talking to this kid. Right. So my question to you on that, Kent, is how many two white kids that were having issues with each other, that were bullying each other, that they talked to their teachers about.
Yes.
And so take the race out of it.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that.
Yeah,
but I mean, that happens too. And then so we're just focusing on the black part of it. But and I'm not trying to downplay this, because at the end of the day, Phil and I have talked many times. Yeah. When I'm with my black friends, my black brothers, my guys that I would die for personally, that they would die for me. These are my guys that I love them to death. And they're so different culture than me. I grew up in a white suburbia, tiny little town, 100% white people. There was one black guy. He graduated my high school year. He was awesome dude, and I was best friends with him. His name was Derek too. He was the faster of the Dereks because he was black and he was faster. He was the fastest kid in the East Coast. He was a great guy. And so are we playing the fact because it's a race card here, or are we playing the fact because there's actually just the teachers are just ignoring it because it's part of school? Part of school is bullying. The problem is are the parents doing anything to help that and help de-escalate situations?
Well, and it is, and I can't answer that because I don't know how many white on white, and both of them just got separated and went on their way, right?
So, with this being at the same school that I went to, when two kids followed a girl through the hallway who was wearing a red shirt and they called her Red Tomato because she was heavy set, both those kids were suspended.
Okay.
When another kid bullied the kid for kind of being nerdy, that kid was suspended.
The bully or the nerdy
bully was suspended.
Okay.
Even though he didn't physically touch them, just said words, was suspended. They didn't touch the girl, but they used words, was suspended. When the other kid who had kind of physical problems and they didn't physically touch, the bully was suspended. This girl told y'all that they were trying to fight her for days.
Yeah.
And when she got pushed first and defended herself, she was suspended.
That's messed up.
So that's where...
Oh, yeah, 100%
with
agree.
being in those hallways and seeing that, when I see that part, I'm like, that doesn't line up.
Yeah.
Like we talked about in the green room, when my friend moved from New York, first day of school, got called the N-word. Now, he did strike the first blow, but he was called the N-word. So he punched the kid in the nose. He was suspended. The kid who called the other kid was the N-word, was not. I showed you the post where the kids hung a Dixie flag at their school, and the school was for it. But when the black kids wanted to have a protest against it, they were suspended.
It sucks. It's 100%. I don't agree with that at all. You know,
and that's the issue, right? That, and I feel for you because you have never felt that,
and that is everything right there. Because how does that make you feel? Because what Derek's question is how I feel is like, but wait. I was called Tall Tree. I was the tallest. I mean, Big Bird, everything for being so tall.
Wait, they called you Big Bird?
Everyone gets made fun of for something. How does that make you feel when I try to relate my experiences with bullying for something that you know deep down in your heart? You've seen it enough to know that it has to do with race, and you've seen an injustice. And I'm trying to compare your situation with a bullying situation. It's all the same. Like, it just because it was black and white doesn't mean it was a black.
We're always looking for good girl.
But you know, you know, because
she's a good basketball player.
I still know who's going to be on the in crowd despite the teasing. Like, I know that we can all give each other, you know, verbally hell in here, joking, Big Bird, Baldy, whatever. You know, we can go back and forth, the token. We could do this all day long.
I didn't get a nickname yet.
When we walk into
why do I
the
go
McHenry Country Club or the Crystal Lake Country Club, only one of us is going to be seen as the help. So everyone gets called stuff, but...
Did you say you get seen as the help?
Yeah.
I got, when I walked
See,
to
but
the,
it's
when I went to the Boulder
literally.
Club,
oh, really?
in a polo, in dress pants, nothing in hand.
Not years ago.
Yeah.
Not years ago.
Like 2 years ago. Delivery?
What the fuck?
What about my teal polo? The Tommy Bahama polo says UPS. I get that there's brown, but
That's
I don't know. Every time I pull up and I stand there, I throw in my keys. Here we go.
Because I just want to feel like we're past this. Like, that was back in the day. I know.
That's unbelievable.
And that's the thing. It's like, nah, this isn't real anymore. There's so many mixed kids. It's all
Art says,
Art was not bullied. Art is like a monster because he's tall too. He's what, 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah,
nice.
So anyway, Art.
That's
what
why
I want
I
to
love
do
you,
is,
Art.
here's what I want to go back. He says, you know, we teach our kids to not to see race. It's human race and just people with different tone of skin. If they ask. That's a beautiful sentiment,
right?
But you have to teach your kids race.
Yeah, talk about it.
You have to
validate.
I don't know, and that's the hardest thing, right? And when we really started this show and we started going, that's what I said. I go, no, I have always taught my kids not to see color. Well, that's being racist because you have to notice that you're different than me. And you have to know that the world is different.
Yeah, but wait a second. He's different because of what? Because of the color of his skin?
Absolutely.
Phil's a freaking great dude.
No, I get it.
So literally, he's not different. He just is tan and looks better than both of us.
And that,
so just saying, dude. You know how much we have to pay to look like him?
Jealousy thing. Like, we're just jealous.
Right. No, but then again.
But that's
I
love each other.
Right.
The whole thing
out
is
there, like someone's going to follow me in close.
Yeah, but people, I also felt
that's
the same
on
way
them,
too.
Then.
So
like that's disgusting.
I want to talk real quick
That's
too,
not
because
your
here's a reverse side to that. So I've hung out in places that are predominantly black, right? And I've hung out in the clubhouses in the areas that are literally gang members and black.
Yeah,
I have been.
You felt it.
I felt the racism
Right.
on that end too, and I'm like, man, I'm a white suburb kid. I'm really out of place here. I'm accepting of who you are, and I look past that.
Right.
But the other side, black people, also can look at white people and say, hey, I don't like you because you're white. And I'm like, I literally was like, what's up? And then my brother came up and was like, hey, that's my dude. Like, he's good people.
Yeah,
he's that. And he's like, all right. I guess you're cool. then. And I'm going, I can't believe I'm in the middle of this conversation right now. I am hanging out in your neighborhood to learn you guys, learn your ways and understand and embrace you guys as a people, because it is different down there, right? There's a different way. He's dying right now. You know.
Native American.
I know it's so
We're amongst you people.
Wakanda forever.
One of the indigenous.
But see, you had
It
that.
sounds so bad
experience
now. Thanks, Phil.
One time, like
Blackfoot.
right?
I'll be
Teach you our
Blackfoot.
ways.
Yes. A painted face on me.
Why were the headhunters out Americans killing in Thailand? I don't understand.
But
That's how it feels all the time.
being in
That one
Florida,
experiences all the time.
Right, exactly.
my
That's-
stepmom became my stepmom when I was like 5.
Uh-huh.
But I remember, like, obviously, I had Stephen Ross was one of my best friends from across the street when I was 6. But you're still in there where those conversations, like, I've protected my white friends from my black friends when my black friends are trying to jump my white friends in the PE locker room.
Sure.
And done the no.
Yeah.
They're cool.
They're
Y'all
my
chill
dudes.
out.
Leave them alone.
When a kid hit my other friend Brandon with a lock on his hand. Like, I've been in that. But having a white stepmom, having white cousins, and having, like, white best friends, like, you're hearing relatives or friends be like, nah, don't trust white folks and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but my mom just got us
So
ice cream on
frustrating.
Sunday.
Right.
And then you have to be, as that mixed kid, you're the bridge. You get to be the bridge. Hey, this is what's
See how
great
he
about
did
your
that
culture.
Ah!
See how
Yes!
All right. So tune in next time, folks, for the next show.
Don't
Wow.
Don't drop the mic because
They're nice
these are
and new.
expensive.
Yeah, they're new.
But look at this. Look at this.
Which one doing? Ashley or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's read that one. Go ahead. I'll cry if I read it.
Proud of you, Pop. We love to see your growth. Not seeing color is doing an injustice. Not seeing color mutes culture, beliefs, uniqueness, and doesn't acknowledge the struggle for you faced.
That's my girl.
That's your girl right there.
That's my hey
Jones.
Wow.
clinical psychologist.
Wow.
Proud of her.
I don't want to talk to her ever. They might actually put me in an institution after her.
She became a psychologist because of how. warped
Derek,
that
you're
was.
crazy. Do you understand that?
awesome.
Yeah. So Andrew says, "Hey, Uncle Hudson knows Uncle Phil is black. He knows Uncle Steve is white and multicolored because he's got so many tattoos."
Yeah.
But he isn't taught anything else beyond that. Those are both his dad's brothers, and he can go to them both for the same things. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, and multicolored brothers like a rainbow. He's got so many tattoos.
Blue Skittles bag.
Blue
I'm
skin.
telling you.
But it's the same thing. So we talk about black and white, right? But
Yeah.
there's other races in there too. You have Asians, you
Yeah.
have Indians, you have all different
What?
types of stuff. I know.
That's a whole other
It's
show.
a whole nother show. We just like that.
Too much.
Okay, so my question is,
Mhm.
how many black kids are in your kids' class?
There's like 26, and they have 2
Your
black.
daughter is one. And there's
No,
one
well, I don't. I would say they're. She's
Right.
mixed,
Yeah.
and there's one black person.
Okay, so they would be the 2, right?
Right.
So
I would
now
say
in
2 out of
today's society, my
26.
question would be, and maybe with your son too, but down there it seems a little different in the where they're growing up. But are they like, oh, hey, we've got this African American little kid in here, and we've got to be able to, watch our step or
Yeah.
is there now quote unquote special treatment?
Right.
Because she's.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I mean, they're
don't
so young. I mean, what am I going to do if she comes back and she said, I don't.
Yeah.
So no, the answer is no. I have no clue right now if there's any. I haven't felt anything. I don't think the kids have felt anything so far. I do wonder, like when their dad was going to school stuff at the beginning of their lives, I was thinking, does he feel weird because he's the only Black person in the room? Like I finally started to be able to think like that. He never said anything, but I was like, wait. So that one experience you were talking about, is that how you feel all the time? Like you were the only white person there. I mean, that was obviously at the forefront of your or somebody's thoughts, whether it was yours or theirs. But what about, I try to tell my kids, here's the thing, like the people that are going to bully you or be upset about things, like those are the people that need the most love. Like that's their stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're loved, you're who you are. If you're having a hard time about something, I'm open to a conversation about it. I'm not going to shut it down. What other people think about you is none of your business.
Right. But at the same time, are you prepping your daughter to be like, listen, just understand that when Jimmy's eraser goes missing, they're going to look at you first.
But see, I don't want to say that to them.
Right?
I don't want to plant that seed. Should I?
But here's the thing. Wait. Let's
I'm
take
not
it.
gonna
Let's take it
listen
one
to what
one
you
thing
say, but
further,
I
real
wanna
quick. I
know.
just got to ask. So we're talking about schools and people of color being
Way to make
hit
them feel horrible. Say that.
get in trouble. So what if your daughter comes home, just out of curiosity, and Jimmy's eraser gets stolen and she gets expelled, and she had nothing to do with it, and she's completely confused about what just happened? Like, I mean, as a parent,
I wouldn't go straight to, oh my God, they did it because she's Black.
Okay,
I wouldn't.
that's good.
But that might be my ignorance.
Right.
My not being in
Yeah.
situation. Like,
I mean,
oh, that's
you got bullied 'cause you were
ridiculous.
tall, but when that eraser
Right.
became missing, they weren't like, the tall girl took that shit.
Right. Right.
They didn't say that.
Or if she does do something wrong, am I going to be defensive and say, she didn't do this. You're only doing this because she's mixed and you're singling her out and I'm playing that
So
card. It's like, I don't.
I have to say, because I've seen Jessica in mom mode, I've seen Jessica in work mode, and I've seen Jessica in fun mode and stuff like that. Jessica is one of the most amazing moms that you're ever going to meet. She cares so much about her kids. She cares about all this stuff. She does think about this kind of stuff, and she tries to work out how to do it. It's just hard I feel like for her, she's white. So when Black issues come up, she didn't have to grow up with that. Yeah. You didn't have that feeling every single day where you have to wake up and, hey, I'm different color skin and I'm going to get treated different, or I'm going to get talked about different.
That summary, because that's really where it's at.
Yeah. And I think there's other parents out there in this world that are running through the same thing. You're a single mom. You're doing this on your own. So you're kind of playing that dad and mom role at the same time, trying to go through what you need to. Yeah. And you have mixed kids. So that's one more thing. And I mean, we talked about it before, but your experience with a local hairdresser.
I was going to say, let's get into hair issues. So that was the first and only thing I've went through so far. They just have curly hair, so I just do it how I thought I should do it, and then I realized, like, again, I keep using this word disservice, but like, am I doing their hair right? Like, I don't know what I'm doing, like maybe I should seek some counsel. But then when I tried to find some counsel, it was like,
let me tell you,
I was not in the right place. Like, I felt, again, I'm like, this is
sister
Black
getting
salon.
Their hair braided. I mean, you got to pull. I've had friends. They're like, it's torture. It hurts. It hurts.
It looks
wonderful.
It looks so cool. I love it. It's so awesome.
It's torture. So
it's so cool.
If you're if you're going to punish them, instead of grounding them, like, here, honey, we're going to go get a hair done.
Get your hair did. Get your hair did.
That's hard, right? So Jan, we absolutely love you. Yes, it's your mom. With growing up with mixed family on your mom's side, Philip knew what was good. And then we had to drive to Rockford for Phil's hair.
Yeah, get it braided.
See?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
awesome. Is that where the Jerry curl was at?
It was like this in college.
How old are you?
So low.
I'm on the court just dripping everywhere.
Right.
He did a spin move in his
my center in college, Dave Harris. God bless you, Dave. Dave, and it was always, he had to put on a shower cap on a bus, otherwise it was dripping down the bus seat. It was bad, right? But that's the way it was. Get that Jerry curl. Anyway, I can't see you with the Jerry curls.
No, I mean neither. That's why I was braided.
What do you have
That's
under
why
that
I was
hat?
braided.
Oh, it's bald. It's
Yeah,
I'm rocking
that's
pink tones.
easy.
Yeah, I'm rocking pink tones. Brand new.
I'm rocking
When
the
you
pink
were
tone.
when you were with your biker brothers.
Yep.
What if I would have told you like don't see color?
I can't.
Yeah,
not
that
see
would have
color.
pissed you off, right?
What I'm saying, like, but you knew
Uh-huh.
one of these things is not like the other ones.
Oh, for sure.
So when you're asking how it feels, like, and people are like,
Yeah.
well, just don't see it. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Whether I want to or not,
Oh, yeah.
someone's going to let me know I don't
Yep.
fit in.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here observing my crayon's different than the rest of them.
Yeah.
No. So let me ask. Your daughter's tall like you?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does she let that
So
feel?
now.
Does she
Yeah.
want to?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, they want to.
So now.
They're gonna need
So,
to.
so
Yeah, they don't.
interestingly enough, now
Third grade.
now they got the double one. You were the same way. You weren't a little kid. So if you were white, you stood out because you were tall.
Right.
Right. So I mean, Lucy follows you on Snapchat or something. She's like, Dad, look at the picture of look at Coach Phil, and it was your high school team. And I go, which one's Coach Phil?
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's back to square one.
You know, and they're lined up. They're lined
Nope.
up like a pyramid. Phil's in the middle. You know, and she goes, Dad. I go, oh, number 14. 14
Number 14, right?
Yeah.
Guess what number she's wearing?
14.
Oh,
Right. So the funny thing is, you know, and that's why I said, oh, the tall one. Okay, I see him now. Right.
Yep.
But so now that's tough, right? Because not only are they tall,
Yeah.
I mean, Ashley is probably 5'9", 5'10",
Yeah.
and growing up, she was always tall,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
I mean, to the point where people would say, it's not fair to her to play basketball with these kids because she's so big, right?
Yeah.
I remember hearing that. I'm like, she's the same age. It ain't my fault. Listen, I'm
So-
5'10". It's not my fault she's tall.
Yeah.
So what about this? You were talking about when you're black and if you play sports, you're fine, right? Because usually you don't. That's you're real popular. You're in sports.
safer.
What about being tall, black, and no athletic ability? You have no
Circle.
worth, right? Because
Circle
your
it up.
worth. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, I think. But I'm
Let's
just
circle it
saying,
up,
like
for sure.
when I was tall, I was
That dude better
expected
be
to
a
play
Peter Wiz.
basketball. Can you imagine being black, tall, and not having athletic ability? You
That's
probably
what
feel
we're-
like shit.
That's what
It's
we're saying, those
impossible,
kids
number
who-
one.
Sorry.
So
You can swear. It's okay.
Okay.
when you play sports, you're safer. And it's picture playing football for the University of Alabama. You know the other thoughts of the alumni or whatever of that school. And while you play football, great. But if you aren't
Just
a
like-
member,
Right.
you're down the street, you're going to get called some stuff.
Yeah. Right.
If you're not athletic and there's not the school benefiting from you and there's not
Mhm.
that rah-rah for the...
Yep.
You instantly found out when basketball season ended and I worked for a local newspaper company. Even though my picture was on the front of it from a week ago, people would not come to the door.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you were those
I was
kids in
gonna
that
ask
situation
that,
and you're not doing the athletics, there's not a reason not to call you those things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's not a reason not to push you away for some people. And from what I've gathered from still get phone calls to come speak to kids who are black from Central or Woodstock or South or whatever, and they're not in the athletics.
Well, and we've talked about that, right? So,
Horrible.
hey, Friday night in the stands, I'm cheering for Phil. All of a sudden, something happens in my driveway. I ain't cheering for Phil no more.
Right.
It turns quickly, right? It could be the same person, but if hey, he doesn't have his helmet and shoulder pads on, right? Now my true colors maybe come out, right? And that's, I mean, so what you have to do, and what you two are very, very good at, and Jessica, I just have met you, but in our short time, is that you lead with love. You love your kids, and I have literally, since we started the show, sat here and kind of thought of the same things that you're going through every day, but I've never been like, nah, we won't bring it up. We won't bring it up.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking this, but it's always been a question on my mind. So I'm glad that you brought it up and that you're here, because it is, I mean, here's a mom with 3 beautiful kids who struggles, questions.
Right.
I mean, that's, and you shouldn't have to do that, but you do, because you do want them to know their heritage. What did you call it? Their ways? What is it?
The ways of the indigenous.
That's gonna be a new way. Teach me your ways.
Yeah, that's Phil. Tall, black, and unathletic. Here, let me just. So, but truly, right, is and that is something that you will battle until they're adults and put a comment up on your show and you're like, all right, I did them right.
Yeah.
And I would hate to have that push and pull every day, because with my, I've got mixed kids. I got one son and 3 girls, right?
What?
Thank you very much. All right. Anyway, yeah.
He's bald and has glasses.
Anyway,
But
though.
you do have that push and pull as a parent for other reasons, right? I mean, you're a parent. You're going to worry. You're going to think. You're going to analyze this over so many things, right?
That's the wife's
Now
issue.
ask Ashley that.
But I mean,
Dad's always
do
got
I
it.
really have that much more to worry about than you?
I would hope not, but yes, right? Because they're viewed differently through people's lenses, right? And I mean, we all love Holly Berry, right? That's milk chocolate, right? And she's a good actress, right?
I don't know. Phil's got a weird look on his face.
However-
I know. I'm
There's nothing
shocked
to debate
because
here.
I'm
Okay,
like,
cool.
yeah.
Cool. I'll make sure.
However, I can talk with Phil, and then with Zoe, and who are 2 different shades, of black,
That's
right?
another thing, right?
And Zoe will tell you even worse stories, just because he's darker, right? So even that, So yes, you have to allow your kids to grow and love people and whatever, but they also have to understand your tan don't go away.
No.
And you're going to be looked at in the middle of February when the white people are white, man, and you are still tan.
You guys glow.
I just turned red in the sun. There's no other color that happened in there.
For Ashley's comment that she wrote, she said, "I don't have kids, period, but I work with them daily as a therapist in partial hospitalization program. After building rapport and broaching a tougher conversation with me, a white therapist, a lot of kiddos ages 4 to 17 express that they can't have both, especially in a school setting. When I ask them to explain what they mean, it's often followed by, I was raised close to my Latino, African American, Asian roots, and the school shamed me for that, almost pushing me to act more white. While I'm not speaking for any child of color because I'll never begin to understand the challenges they face, I will stand by these kids and agree that our education system is whitewashed. Still, to this day, it seems that schools do not celebrate differences in diversity. I've seen the damage it does to young minds and their mental health when they're muted time after time, and it's shameful."
Can I ask you a question?
Drop the mic.
What is acting?
The reason why we will tell you that it's racist to tell like someone like myself who like pronounces the words like the Carltons of the world.
Okay.
Right? Because what you're saying is you can't be intelligent in black. You can't talk proper and be black.
100% wrong.
To only be able to use these tools, chimpanzees can't do that. So your C's are acting like a human versus you're just as intelligent as the rest of us.
So the same goes for British people and Americans. British people hate Americans and hate how we verbalize things, how we talk about things, how we say y'all, for different parts of the country, obviously. Right. But Britain has proper English is what they call it. And they, also have the worst teeth in the entire world.
White is navy blue suit, white shirt, red tie with wingtips.
Yeah, that ain't me.
Black is.
I do like the wingtips,
Stacy's. That's what I'm talking about right there. Done. Right?
Stacey Adams? Stacey Adams?
Oh, yeah, you know what I'm talking
about. Of course I do.
Right? And it looks good.
But here's the thing. I like Stacey Adams.
Right.
I like the square toe front shoe.
Yeah.
You know me and you are big shoe guys, right? So,
and
and here's the thing. I'm not a Jordan fan because I didn't grow up in Chicago. I am also a Foamposite fan. I got almost every color of Foamposites in the world. They got carbon fiber shank in them. They're super durable. I'm a big guy. They got 2 big air pockets in there. I look at the structure of them. The funniest thing ever, though, is I hang out with my white guys, and they're like, what are those things? Yeah. And they're like, dude, you spent how much on those things? Because they ain't cheap. No. And the black guys that I hang out with, they're like, bro, we'll get those foams. Yes. Y'all got them foams. Like, we good. Yeah. And it's so funny because Ken and I are pretty chameleon people. We can kind of change our personality around people as see fit because we know we're in a different space, right? And it's hard for me because I try to look past it because I don't Art's making comments, so I can't not ignore it. So foams, the high class big money. That's true. I love my foams. They're amazing. But so at the end of the day, when we're talking about black versus white, when it comes to those conversations, it's hard for me because I I don't want to see in color because I don't want to acknowledge it. But what I've learned from your guys' show and talking about it more is we need to have those conversations, because in psychology in general, you don't just ignore things, right?
Yeah.
Because that bottles up inside and creates vengeance, and you create your own story, and you got no seek to understand.
Attention.
And if you talk about it and it becomes normalized, then things become easier for conversations. Right. And the whole point is it needs to start from the school, and the school from the parents saying, hey, I'm hanging out with this kid, Jimmy, and Jimmy is black and Sarah's white. It's okay. I'm accepting that. Right. That's fine. Yeah, hang out. I'm going to treat you the same way as hanging out with Andrew, right, who's a white dude. You know what I mean?
I do.
So,
nice job,
Andrew. Is Andrew white, by the way? I didn't
know. This is why you have to address the differences and embrace the beauty of the differences, because otherwise, the reason why the whole talking white thing is, it's almost like there's nothing beautiful about your culture. Right. There's nothing beautiful about your curly hair, or like the way that
and trying to straighten it. Like, so what Ashley's saying is, we're showing that every single day, and without even saying it, that you need to buckle up and act this way. Because you're not good enough without your athletic ability, without whatever your worth is tied to, and that's how proper you speak, and that. It's so crazy how much we teach without teaching. And I've already gained so much about this that it's really helped me understand that your daughter, I mean, great comment. Like, I like to say, I don't see color, but see, I know how wrong that is now, because you're gaslighting your experience. Your experience is real.
Yep.
Because there is beauty in all colors.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn stuff.
And it's not even the color, it's the culture behind it, really. It's not just that you're black, there's more to it. Just like I'm white and there's more to it. And we're mixing, we're bridging and pretty soon we're going to be the majority. I mean, absolutely too. We're all mixed.
Andrew asks,
but if you
trust the process. That's my thing. I'm sorry. I got goosebumps when I saw that.
Andrew asks, he says, I really wonder, is it different for Jessica being the white parent and Phil being the black parent? And not about ignorance, but about what you've been through as kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think we kind of addressed that, that like she hasn't gone through certain things because, not diversity at Johnsburg and things of that nature versus things that I've been through. So we're able to shine light on some different topics. Like, I can talk about the experience of being a mixed kid in Crystal Lake South, because
and you have a lot. I mean, not only, is your child mixed, but your mom is white. And so you've had experiences with mixed situations and different cultures. And so there's a lot to learn from you, regardless of what our colors are. It's your experience is greater than mine when it comes to this. Yeah. Right?
Having a white stepmom.
So it doesn't matter who you know.
I never knew the Secret Garden or the Apple Dumpling Game or Dr. Pepper. It was
Apple Dumpling. Dr. Pepper's amazing.
Herbie rides again. This is all. I learned your ways.
Oh, God.
I'm the indigenous person now.
It wasn't Dr. Pepper. It was Pibb.
Pibb was good. Pibb was
good. Max says, as a white Polish person.
Polish.
When I came to the States and started school, I was bullied against the fact that I didn't speak English.
You don't speak English still.
When's that going to change, man?
I had a whole 5 seconds of thinking.
So, but it's that, and it is because you're different, right? There's two kids of color. She's different, right? I mean, the Polish accent.
Magda says my coworkers make fun of my Polish accent. Every day.
Apparently your friends do too.
Yeah. So
all one of the same.
So the interesting thing is, and I like the way you said it, is you have to be able to show the beauty on each side.
Yes.
Because I think that having them really live into the beauty of who they are helps them get through the bullying.
Right.
So can I ask
with love?
Can I ask a question for both of you? So if you had to give somebody out there, single parent, black or white, with mixed children, what advice would you give if your child brings up a race question?
Good question.
Because I know there's families out there. There's mothers like Jessica and there's fathers like Phil who don't have these kind of support or these kind of questions or topics or upbringings or anything like that are literally by themselves that deal with those questions, and maybe they're dealing with it wrong, which is amplifying the issue rather than help solve the problem, right?
So I'm going to answer this. For me, so my biggest thing is the family that you were born with, your blood, may not always be the people in your life that you need. So I don't look at the circumstance that I have per se. Oh my God, a single mom, no dad, your kids are doomed. I'm going to create what they need. Maybe my family isn't, supportive of what I do. The people that I've met along the way, I know, and I will bring God into this, like he will put the right people in my life, and just because they're not my blood will be. So I am not too big to say to my children, I'm not equipped. I am your mom. I know a lot of things. There's some things I don't know how to answer, and I'll do everything in my power to get you the right answer or get the people that can help you. No, Dad, okay, we're going to find a mentor. We're going to find someone in the church. We're going to find friends. I'm going to put all my energy and effort into finding the people that can answer the questions that I can't. Because that's my job as a parent. And I don't know everything. And that's why I'm here today, because let's come on the show and talk about your mixed kids. Well, I don't want to talk about that. They're just my kids. They're not mixed. They are mixed. And it's time to talk about it, because in a couple years from now, you're going to be dealing with some questions that you're just not going to want to answer. And the time is now.
My parents, their kids were mixed up. That's just,
Look what happened to you.
Yeah. Welcome to 21-6. Yeah. So, and that's beautiful, right? And that's the way it's going to be. I mean, it's even more difficult perhaps for you with the miles between you and your son.
Right.
I mean, you get there a lot. You have your own private airline take you back and forth. But
soon.
But right. I mean,
need to hang out with you more.
Hey, Phil.
Exactly.
So
where we find you.
But in reality,
God put the right people in my life.
but in reality, when your son has that issue, is mom going to let him pick up the phone to ask, or is she going to try to take care of it? Who is a white mom, right? So she's kind of in the same boat you are, and even though something's going down, it's going to take Dad a couple hours to get there by air, right? So I mean, and you've had those conversations, and you're a great dad, and I mean, those conversations are tough, but there's also that, you can pick up the phone and FaceTime me and we're there, but at the same time, I don't know if I can go to Dad with this. Mom's here right now, or Mom.
When he asked about police and brown people, right?
Yeah.
We had that conversation through the phone, but she had addressed that with him first. Me and him talked about it, and then he went to like one of the parades or protests or whatever, but it was like not a violent one. It was just like a parade they were doing in Capel with my dad. And there's a picture of him on my dad's shoulders, throwing the fist, right? And just had a conversation, just understanding that, like, yes, there's a difference. Daddy looks different than mommy does. He loves both. He loves all his cousins from both sides. And, there's going to be people who don't like people for certain things. Sure. But we're going to show those people that they're wrong with love.
Mm-hmm. And when he grows out of his shoes, I'll take him. The kid's got big.
Give him a year or two. They were like this. And I was over there and I was like, okay, good for you.
Hormones, bro.
She moved on and I was like, oh, you got a new boyfriend. You wear Spider-Man shoes, but that's weird. She's like, those are your son's, dummy.
I got Tony Stark shoes. I'm good. I got Stark shoes.
Your boyfriend has Velcro strap on his shoes? Downgrade.
That was our senior year. We wore a different colored Velcro shoes in school all the time because it was just something weird to do, and I don't care.
Here's when I know Derek's given up, when he puts on the white New Balance.
Yeah. Yo, no, it's the Nike. What are they called? I know the name of them too. The Air Force ones. The Nike
old white guy shoes.
The old white guy shoes.
Oh my God!
But here's the Monarchs.
No,
I knew I'd find it.
Balance.
No. Nike makes a Monarch, and it's a 50-year-old shoe. We call it the 50-year-old shoe, and we always had plenty in stock. The thing is, you can't knock them till you wear them. Because they are literally the most. Okay, he's gonna die right now. I go from Foamposites, Yeezys, and everything to the Air Monarch. It's so comfortable. Right, yeah, exactly. I got Crocs at home. I'm not gonna lie. I got American flag Crocs.
The one thing, and this with JR wanted me to address this, and my mom and my aunt kind of helped remind this, that sometimes as a mixed kid, you're not black enough for your black friends. You're not white enough for your white friends.
That was on my list.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that.
And so that's also where you have
So
to kind of
shitty.
prep for not just
That's a
you know,
real
white people.
thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Like the fact that I was a Chris. Oh, you sold out. You live with the white people.
Yes.
Yes, and Panera Bread is delicious.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't like plain bags, then your weekend sucks.
Hey, Popeyes is amazing too.
We got just a couple minutes, so
Yes.
I'll throw this up
Thank you,
there.
yeah.
Ashley says, for the little kiddos, what's worked through studies, proof is they begin to question, why do I look different, or why do they look different? Go back to science. Some people have more melanin, and melanin is what makes our skin different color. Acknowledging those differences concretely for what they are. Planting those seeds early from an education standpoint is bomb.
So do they act black or do they act white?
They act who they are.
The kids. So
Act
to
like
talk
kids.
about her question,
It's
so
not even act.
she's hang on. So she's
Right.
saying real quick that we're going to talk about, and I appreciate the psychology on this because obviously
Why do I
she's
look
your
different?
But why we look different, we're getting to the technical reasons of why. My question is do they act white or do they act black? What are they supposed to?
Explain acting black or acting white.
So like,
Yeah.
And I know we
Exactly.
can dive into a big thing. We only got a minute here,
Yeah.
but go ahead,
in
go ahead,
that
Phil.
situation, it's not even about how you act because like my mom and my aunt didn't necessarily act white. It was just the fact that my mom's her
Yeah.
color, right? So you're not one of us, and white people say, well, you're not one of us either.
Yeah.
So it's being you who you are and being able to embrace both sides.
Love that.
You're going to get ridiculed for it, but like, being who you are and showing how it's supposed to act.
I love that, Phil. Good ending to that. Thank
Hey,
you.
sir.
great. Jessica, thank you for being here. Of course,
you.
thanks to
Thank
Gold
you.
Shield
I'm
Service.
Always
so
have a-
happy.
always have
Yeah,
a
I really
show.
appreciate it.
Financially supporting us. Phil always has great stuff. Come back anytime.
you.
Like I said, we can do a threesome. You can be the new
I'm here
co-host.
for it.
I don't- whatever you want.
Grandma, I know you're listening. He speaks for him and himself alone.
No, it's three hosts. Right? That's what we're talking about. Hey, stick around. Right now, we've got Success Journey Podcast. Come back at noon for your gun show from last night. It's going to replay at noon.
It's a good show.
3 o'clock for the Know with Steph and Joe. 1 p.m. for the Neighborhood Pulse, and then 8 tonight. Brand new show where the Dream Home experts are giving away an April Air.
Humidifier.
Love you guys, folks.
Thanks, guys.